Have you ever found yourself in a place so dark it feels like there's no way out? Picture this, a woman, much like any of us. She's vibrant, full of life, and yet, one day, she finds herself grappling with a life-threatening illness. Her world, once filled with laughter and light, is suddenly steeped in shadows. She wakes up each morning, her heart heavy with despair, her spirit cloaked in a darkness that seems to have no end. The illness, this unseen foe, has cast a pall over her existence, leaving her to navigate her way through a labyrinth of fear and uncertainty. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. She fights, oh how she fights, but with each passing day, the path ahead seems more elusive, the darkness more impenetrable. She's lost, adrift in an ocean of hopelessness, her sense of self, her identity, eroded by this relentless adversary. And then, one day, something shifts. In the depths of her despair, she reaches out, not to those around her but to something greater, something beyond the realm of the seen. She turns to faith, to a spiritual solace that whispers of hope, of strength, of resilience. She begins to pray, to meditate, to seek. She immerses herself in scriptures, their words a soothing balm to her troubled soul. She finds comfort in the divine, strength in the ethereal. And as she does, she begins to see a glimmer of light, a flicker of hope in the darkness that engulfs her. She realizes that she is not alone, that she never was. She understands that even in her darkest hour, there was always a path, an unseen path that was waiting for her, patiently, lovingly. It was a path that was not marked by medical charts or doctors' diagnoses, but by faith, by hope, by love. In her darkest hour, she discovered an unseen path that was always there, waiting for her to tread upon. A path that whispered of hope, that sang of resilience, that promised a light at the end of the darkest tunnel. This path, unseen to the naked eye, was her journey towards healing, towards light, towards life. Have you ever wondered if there's a light at the end of the tunnel? Let's delve into the life of a man who was forced to ask himself this very question. Imagine waking up one morning to the world as you know it, completely torn asunder. A natural disaster had swept through his town, leaving nothing but rubble and despair in its wake. His home, a place once filled with laughter and love, was reduced to ruins. His livelihood, a small business he had built up over the years, was washed away in an instant. He could have succumbed to the despair that was swallowing up his world. He could have let the darkness overtake him, but he did not. He chose to believe, to hold on to faith, to look for that light at the end of the tunnel. He started to dig through the ruins, not just of his home but of his life. Every piece of rubble he moved, every shattered remnant of his past he picked up, he did so with the belief that he was moving towards something better, something brighter. There were days when he was tired, when the weight of his loss threatened to pull him down, but faith, that unwavering belief in a higher power, became his beacon, guiding him through the darkest nights. He began to see the light, not just at the end of a tunnel, but in the kindness of strangers who offered help, in the solidarity of a community that was rebuilding from scratch, and in the resilience of nature that was slowly but surely reclaiming its vibrancy. His journey was not easy. It was filled with obstacles, with moments of doubt and despair. But he never lost sight of the light, of the hope that things would get better. His faith became his compass, guiding him towards a future he could not yet see, but believed in nonetheless. And so, even when everything was stripped away from him, he found the light at the end of the tunnel. His story is a testament to the power of faith, to the resilience of the human spirit, and to the belief that even in the darkest of times, there is always a light waiting to guide us home. Is there a ray of hope in a world shrouded in darkness? Let's consider the story of a young girl named Grace. Grace was an ordinary girl with extraordinary dreams. She had a heart full of kindness and a mind bursting with bright ideas. But unfortunately, she found herself the target of relentless bullying at school. She was pushed into a corner, faced with a torrent of hurtful words and actions. She was immersed in a sea of sadness, tossed by the waves of torment. Her days were filled with dread, her nights with tears. The world seemed like a dark, ominous cloud hovering over her, ready to burst at any moment. Her dreams were overshadowed by the gloom of her present, her spirit sinking deeper into despair with each passing day. But amid all this, Grace had something to hold on to, her faith. She found comfort in the divine, a refuge from the storm that raged around her. She clung to her faith like a lifeline, drawing strength from the belief that there was a higher power watching over her. She began to see her faith not as a mere belief, but as a shield, protecting her from the arrows of negativity. Her faith became her armor, her fortress, her sanctuary. In the midst of the chaos, she found a haven of peace and tranquility. With each prayer, she felt a sense of calm washing over her. She felt loved, cherished, protected. She realized that even in the throes of her darkest hours, she was never alone. Her faith served as a beacon of light, guiding her through the darkness, illuminating her path. And slowly she rose. With each passing day, she became stronger, more resilient. She faced her tormentors with a newfound courage, her faith radiating from her like a beacon. She realized that the power to overcome her struggles lay within her, fueled by her unwavering faith. She found hope where it seemed there was none, proving that faith can indeed move mountains. Can we find strength within ourselves when everything else fails? Let's journey into the life of a soldier, a brave heart who found himself in the darkest corners of life. Captured, held as a prisoner of war, he was thrust into an abyss of uncertainty, fear, and despair. His world as he knew it was ripped apart, replaced with the stark reality of confinement and the echoes of hopelessness. Yet in the midst of this darkness, he held on to a flicker of faith, a faith that whispered in his ear, "Hold on, endure, survive." It was not the faith in the systems of the world or the promises of men. It wasn't faith in the possibility of rescue or the hope of escape. No, this was a deeper faith. A faith in something greater, something stronger, something beyond the tangible and the visible. It was faith in the divine, in God, in the ultimate architect of life. This soldier, in his darkest hour, didn't allow the external circumstances to dictate his inner strength. He chose faith over fear, hope over despair, endurance over surrender. Each day he woke up not knowing if it was his last, yet he chose to live. He chose to believe. He chose to fight, not with guns or swords, but with an indomitable spirit, a spirit that refused to be broken. He held on to his belief, his faith, like a beacon in the darkest night. It guided him, it sustained him, it gave him strength when his physical strength failed him. And ultimately it was this faith, this inner strength that saw him through. He survived, not because of his physical prowess or his tactical acumen, but because of his faith, his belief, his inner strength. When every external force failed him, he discovered a strength within, fueled by his faith. What do these stories tell us about hope, faith, and the power within us? As we draw the curtains on these tales of resilience, let's revisit the key messages they have imparted. Each story paints a vivid picture of life's darkest hours, where the path ahead seems to disappear. Yet, even in these moments of despair and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope manages to pierce through. It is this hope that acts as a beacon, guiding us through the murky darkness towards the unseen path. The journey is never easy. It's riddled with obstacles, steep climbs, and treacherous descents. Yet each story underscores the power of faith, an unwavering belief in a higher power, a belief that there is a divine plan even when our mortal eyes fail to see it. Faith, in its purest form, is trusting the process, knowing that the light at the end of the tunnel isn't an illusion, but a promise of a better tomorrow. These narratives also lay bare the strength within us, a force often underestimated. It's a reservoir of courage and determination, a wellspring of resilience that bubbles up when we dig deep. This strength doesn't eliminate life's challenges, but gives us the grit to face them head-on, to rise each time we fall, and to push forward when all odds seem against us. In essence, these stories serve as a testament to the power of hope, faith, and inner strength in overcoming life's greatest challenges. They remind us that even when the road ahead is shrouded in darkness, there is always a light, however faint, guiding us towards our destiny. In the darkest times, when there seems to be no way, remember these stories. Remember that there is always a way, sometimes unseen but always there, and it starts with hope and faith. So, as we conclude, let's carry these messages in our hearts. Let them be the compass that guides us through life's stormy seas, and let's never forget that even in darkness, there is always a way.